Once again, welcome to this session of our wisdom transmission. We are here to talk about something which is very, very, very important, which many has ignored. And because of the ignorance of this aspect of our existence, a lot of people have really turned it to be a source of spiritual attack or witchcraft sort of a thing upon their lives, because things are not really going the way they expect it to go. And this has to be with our existence on this universe and why we are facing the things we are facing. And in most cases, because we have not lived our life in consonance with certain rules and regulations, it creates a rippling effect. And this rippling effect tends to give us some kind of undesired expectation, and this expectation tends to make us uncomfortable. And this uncomfortability we find within our space and our lives, our family, our marriages, our workplaces, in our relationship, we tend to blame it on some kind of spirit entity or some kind of witchcraft which is causing this. Now, what is happening is that most of the things we are experiencing are not actually witchcraft, are not actually fostered by any kind of spirituality. You see, our world operates on principle. This whole universe was created on laws and on principles. And if we do not find our way and how to live with the laws of the universe and the principles of the universe, it's going to have an adverse effect in our lives. Because everything which is unfolding, everything which is happening, everything which is ongoing in our lives it's operating within the sphere of cause and effect. Something happens for some other thing to happen, and that other thing happens for another thing to happen. So it has this domino effect, that rippling chain effect in existence. So you do one thing and it has an effect. That effect that happens also becomes a cause and creates another effect. That effect also creates another effect, because that effect becomes a cause on its own. So one mistake that you do in life tends to have a rippling effect, because each effect becomes a cause, and each effect becomes a cause, and each effect becomes a cause. And it's going to continue that way until you are able to identify the very mistake you did from the inception. So when you rectify that mistake, that rippling effect, that domino effect that you are experiencing in your life would be affected and will be changed. And this is the more reason why today I have decided to treat this video. It's going to come in several episodes. I cannot tell you how many episodes you're going to have. We're going to have it in several episodes, because I'm going to take my time to explain them one after the other so that you understand. Because a lot of people are living lawlessly. A lot of people are living without order. A lot of people are living without rules, without regulation. They think this life is just some kind of open field where anybody can do anything that he wants. But the truth of the matter is that the answer is no. This our world, this our manifest world, is governed by rules and regulations. It's governed by laws. And to be able to have a peaceful life on earth, to be able to have a sound life on earth, you must live by the rules and the regulation that governs this space. And this is where a lot of people are ignorant about. And this is why I have taken the pain to research, and this is a pure research work, to bring to you the laws, the immutable laws that governs this our universe. Then, based on the immutable laws, I'll give you a spiritual perspective to it and how to apply it within this space, and then the effect that you would attract in your effort of trying to defy those laws. So what you are going to talk about are the immutable laws of this universe. There is nothing you can do to change it. It is what it is. And everything within manifest creation is governed by laws. So the earlier you begin to learn and study the laws of the universe and live in consonance and in compliance and in alignment with the laws of the universe, the better things will be for you, and things will begin to change in your life. You cannot tell me that it is time to rain, and you would decide to defy the rain by walking in the rain. Your body, you're going to get wet up. This is the problem of our world today. We don't keep to rules and regulations. We don't keep to the laws of the truth of the matter is that even majority of the people don't even know there are laws governing this universe. let alone how to know it and how to keep it. And there are a lot of things that are happening to us because we keep on breaking the universal laws. We keep on defying the universal laws and the natural laws of this environment where we live in. And as long as we keep violating these laws, we are going to face the consequences. And sometimes when we face the consequences, we blame it on an old man sitting in our village, or some kind of spell, or some kind of hexes, or some kind of witchcraft, which really is not really the cause, or some kind of entity sitting somewhere called Satan, which is not really the cause. But because we are our own Satan, we are our own devils, we are our own witches. And we are creating all this rippling effect in our lives because we are disobeying and disrespecting and disregarding the laws that govern the very enclave and the very jurisdiction where we exist. And it is in our alliance with the laws of the universe that we begin to magnetize, we begin to manifest the things that we so desire. You cannot live in a country and you disrespect the laws of that country, and you expect that the authorities of that country will come to your defense, will come to your aid when you are faced with a trouble. So just like this, for instance, when you go to the UK, or when you go to Canada, you go to Zambia or South Africa or Uganda, there are laws that govern that jurisdiction. And to be able to have peace of mind in that jurisdiction, you must be aware of their laws. If you are not aware of their laws and you ignorantly break the law, that will not excuse you and will not pardon you. That is why it is said that ignorance of the law is not an excuse for pardon. And Bible also puts it in a different way. Say that for lack of knowledge of what? My people perish. Bible says that for lack of knowledge, my people perish. So the question is, a lack of knowledge of what? Is it the knowledge only about the word of God, or lack of knowledge of the word of God, or lack of knowledge about the self, lack of knowledge about spirituality, lack of knowledge of the law that governs the universe? This law, this world is governed by laws. This universe is governed by laws. It has its rules and regulations, and we must understand these rules. We must understand the regulations. And then we need to play with along the rules and regulations of this life. And things will begin to unfold. But human beings are so ignorant about the laws that govern this universe. We are doing everything to kind of live a comfortable life by lawlessly exploiting mineral resources, regardless of the impact it will have. We are lawlessly exploiting the marine ecosystem. We are lawlessly exploiting the biodiversity. We are lawlessly mining, regardless of what impact it's going to have. And we think we can have peace of mind as a people. We don't expect to have peace of mind as a people when we blatantly disregard and disrespect the law that governs the very particular earth we live on, the very particular universe we live on. And this is the problem we have as a people. So the reason why I sit in this orange chair today is to bring you the aspect of the life that we have neglected. That people, these things are supposed to be taught in schools. This is supposed to be the core foundation for environmental studies. But the question is that how many people even have first degree in environmental studies or master's degree in environmental that are aware of this immutable law of the universe? These are supposed to be fundamental things we used to teach the kids in the school so that they become aware of this law that governs our world, that governs our spirit, that governs our universe. So we grow up being conscious and aware of this law. We live our lives in alignment and in a balance with this law so that everything begins to fall in place. And this is the reason why we are faced with all this type of up and downs and fluctuations in our lives that we are faced with. So today, sitting in this hot chair, I'm going to talk about understanding the laws of the universe and its effects when disregarded or violated. This is what I'm going to talk to you about. Knowing and understanding the law that governs our universe and the effects we would have when we violate those laws. So this is what I want you to understand. Please pay attention. It is very, very important. For all you know, a lot of the problems you are having in your marriages, a lot of problems you are having in your homes, a lot of problems you are having in your relationships, a lot of problems you are having in your workplace is because you are violating the law that governs this universe. Because everything is being programmed by laws, and everything is functioning on laws. Our emotion functions on laws, our intellect functions on laws, our senses function on laws, our energy functions on laws, our entire electromagnetic field and our electromagnetic personality functions on laws. That is why at certain time you go to sleep, because it functions on law. When darkness comes and then your pineal gland is able to see the darkness, the dark environment, the pineal gland then begins to activate what we in our system we call, the gland begins to eject what we call melatonin, and this melatonin puts our body to rest. And with this high level of this melatonin in our system, our body naturally goes to sleep by dozing off. This is the law that governs our universe, and nobody is higher than this universal law. We need to operate with and in alignment with this universal law. There are a few times we try to defy this universal law, 1 or 2 times, yes, but consistently would have an adverse effect upon our lives. So the video I'm making is to make you aware of these immutable laws of the universe and the consequences we would face when we violate them. And by the time I finish, you will realize that there are a lot of things you are facing in your life. There are a lot of things you are facing in your marriages. There are a lot of things you are facing in your businesses. There are a lot of problems you are facing in your nuclear family and extended family. And these problems you are facing in different endeavors and aspects of your life are as a result of violating these laws of this universe. So as I told you, we are going to look at it, but today we have about 12 laws that governs the universe. Today we are going to take about 2 of them. Then I don't know how many episodes we're going to have, but I'll try as much as possible to make it very concise and brief, so that we can compact to. Then we'll continue another time. So it's going to come in episodes, so that we'll be aware and then begin to live our lives in a balance and in consonance with the laws of the universe, so that a lot of things that so bewild us and kind of endevil us would naturally dissipate into the background, so that we become more free and become more open, so that we can have a lot of success. So the first law we are going to look at, which governs this universe, is the law of harmony. See, the universe was created to be in a perfect balance and in a perfect harmony. Before our creation, before our existence, the Bible gives a different analogy or records on how the world was formed and created. I have my own, which is relatively similar, but there's a slight changes. From my own meditation, I was able to go inside and receive how human beings came into being within this material space, and how we got ourselves entangled and involved in this material world. The Bible gives, it's almost similar, but just a little bit of difference. You understand? So before, human beings were not living within this material body. We didn't have this gross material, but according to my own download from inside, from the higher dimension, we didn't have this gross material body. Actually, what we had was a more glorified body. Our body was more in the state of, like we would call it, the astral body. So we were more glorified, and everything that we wanted, we had. Everything that we said was manifested, and it was. So that was the state in which we had, because we had a more pure body. So when you read the Bible inside, before the fall of man, that is, the fall of man represents when man started to have a lower, degraded, inferior desire, and our consciousness in terms of our attainment was degraded. That's how the Bible puts it, but it puts it in a metaphorical and allegorical form. But in my essence, in my own meditation, what I downloaded was that we were within this sphere, but of a higher species and a higher glorified body, and then we saw this beautiful, colorful, multicolored planet, which is of a lower dimension to us, and we were up there, and then we saw it down, and we saw that it was so beautiful with this blue water and everything so beautiful, well coordinated, in a perfect balance. So we began to have desire. Instead of our desire was supposed to go up, we begin to have desire downwards towards this material energy, and we desire that we want to experience that world out there. So the more we desired to experience this world out there, the more we tend to have a densified body. And we went through that metamorphosis until we attain that fullness of the four elemental state to be able to participate in this realm of material nature. And that was how we assumed this physical body in order for the non-physical to express itself and interrelate with this physical dimension. This is my own teachings that I had from inside about how we manifested. And obviously, when you watch the structure of our existence, you realize that we were once in a higher dimension. We were not in this dimension. We desire to be here, and we came here. And then after, when we are done with our experiences and our desire we want to experience within material sphere, we are going to live back to the source where we used to be. So this is how the teachings I was given inside with regard to how we cannot degrade our consciousness to come into this material space. And then after we have had all our interactions and all the desire that we desire to be here, we have encountered all those desires and experienced all those desires, we will go back and we'll exit and ascend back to that particular source. But in between it, that's where the gaps we create karma and our misbehaviors and all those things create different dimensions, and it has the tendency of getting us trapped into limbo. So basically what I'm trying to say is that this world was created with a perfect harmony, with a perfect balance. So if we are here, we need to live a life of balance so that our life will be in consonance with that law of balance that creates and controls this manifest space. So the law of balance can stimulate or postulate that, one, everything that is sent out acts, reacts, and returns. The law of actions and reactions. We call it the law of actions and reactions. It is within the law of balance. So everything that we send out, it acts, it reacts, and comes back to us. That is the law of actions and reactions. So you must understand that if you are in a relationship, you are in a business, you have a friend, you have a relative, whatever you have, every action you take, every action you send out, everything you send out will become an action, and that action the person will react to that action, and when the person reacts to that reaction will return back to you. That's what they call cause and effect. So when you send good actions, the person receives the action. By natural law of harmony, the person will naturally react to your actions. That will like a react. You act, the person reacts. And when the person, because your actions went to him, he had to react. That means he has to respond in order to create the balance and the harmony. So when the person responds to your action, we call it reaction. So when you act, the person needs to respond to your act. So the person will react. React means acting again based on your action. And then when the person reacts, his reaction will then return back to the source, which is you. That is one of the laws that governs the universe, the law of harmony. This is one of the functions that the law of harmony stipulates. Anything you send out there will be reacted to, and when it is reacted upon, it will come back to you. Because obviously, when you make a call, you expect somebody to respond to that call. And when the person picks your call, he will talk. When he talks, the talking doesn't go to him, but it comes to you that you made the first act. When you pick a ball and you throw it to the wall, the ball will act by going to hit the wall. When it hits the wall, it will react. So that reaction, the ball will bounce back to you. So you can understand that most of the things that we are experiencing between our marriages, between our wives and ourselves, our husband and ourselves, they are our own actions. And they are just the reactions of the things that we have done. But you see, when the problem comes, when the return of our reaction comes, we do not take time to analyze it. We don't take time to assess it. Then we begin to externalize the blame. And then we begin to blame our husband, or we begin to blame our wife, or we begin to blame our child, or we begin to blame our staff, or we begin to blame our mother, or we begin to blame our father. But it's just a reaction. So when things are happening in your life, the law of harmony that governs the universe is that settle down, keep cool, calm down, introspect, go inside, and first find out what is the cause of that reaction. Because people are just reacting to the actions that they receive. So it's like a mirror. Life is like a mirror. It only reflects back that which you show to it. That is how it works. So a lot of people come for consultation, and after you take them to realize that they are the cause of what is happening in their marriages. They are the cause of what is happening to your children. A woman called me some time back, and we discussed a few issues regarding the son and all those things. And then after listening to her for a while, initially she was talking like the son has gone wayward and a whole lot of things. And then I said, what did you do? So not something really, but this A, B, C, D. I said, yes. He's just only reacting to what you just acted. You understand? He's only reacting to what you acted. Because everything that is a reaction has an action that has been taken. So when you take time to find out our actions, you know, okay, fine, this is what I did. That's why this happened. So what do I do? So that is one of the stipulations of the law of harmony that governs the universe. Any act you send out there, there will be a reaction, and that reaction will return back to you. 2, everything that is attacked defends itself. That's the law of harmony. Anything that is attacked defends itself. So that's why it's even a fowl, a chicken, especially the wild ones, when you attack it, it defends itself. So everything has a defense mechanism. Every creature on earth has a defense mechanism. The lion has strength. The porcupine has pins on his body. You know, the lion has strength. The antelope has speed. So everything in life has its defense mechanism that when it is attacked, it defends itself. And the ability to defend oneself is instinctive. It is within ourselves. So when your actions in a relationship, in a business with your clients, whatever it is you attack the person, naturally the person would respond by defending himself. That is why when even you go to court, when you lay accusation, there has to be an open defense. Because this is the law that governs our universe. So when somebody is being defensive, before you are quick to judge the person, or you are quick to make pronouncements on the person, observe that have you attacked the person? Because defense is only a natural response to an attack. So if your husband is being defensive, maybe your approach was more attacking. If your wife is being defensive, maybe there's a problem. Though there is a problem, the way you approach the problem was more of an attack. Once there's that sense of attack, naturally, instinctively, the opponent or the other party will be defensive, irrespective whether the person is wrong or right. Even if the person is wrong, but your approach to let the person know he's wrong is more of an attack approach, the person will be defensive. It doesn't matter even if he's wrong. He will defend himself. So you must understand that as you live this life, do not attack people. Because when you attack the person, be it physical attack, be it verbal attack, be it emotional attack, be it psychological attack, any form of attack, when you attack the person, it is naturally instinctive and spontaneous for the person to defend himself. So do not attack. You can always send your grievances out in a very mild, in a very humane way, but don't send your complaints, don't send your grievances out in a way of attacking in an aggressive way. When you do that, it is only spontaneous and instinctive that the person would defend himself, even if the person is wrong. Now, the third stipulation that comes from the law of harmony, which is the first law I'm talking about that governs the universe, is everything that pleases is accepted. Everything and anything that pleases, P-L-E-A-S-E-S, pleases, is accepted. That's the law. Now, when you know these things, somebody is asking and says, so how do I apply these things? When you know these things, you use it to your advantage. Because, for instance, you get to know that, okay, when you attack somebody, naturally he will defend himself. So when you want the person to lose guard of his defense mechanism, you don't attack the person. You find a fine way of selling to the person's psyche. for the person to accept what you are saying, so the person will not be defensive of himself. So you would always have what you want from the person. Another way to use this law of the universe is, it says that whatever pleases is accepted. So you don't have to force your way for people to accept you. All you need to do, if you want people to accept you, is to do what? Is to please the people. Because the law of acceptance comes from the law of pleasing. Even the Bible says that if a man's way is pleasing unto the Lord, he said, if a man's way is pleasing unto the Lord opens door for him. So even if God himself, your ways are pleasing unto him, he opened doors for you, how much more man? So one of the ways by which you can make people accept you is to please them. When we are talking about pleasing them, we are not talking about pleasing in the negative perspective, in the negative way of compromises, or in the negative way of pretense. We are talking about pleasing in the positive essence, that you do something which is very, very how do I put it? Which is very, very acceptable. Something which makes the person's heart glad. You understand? If you have a wife and you kind of make your wife happy, you make your wife feel content, you make your wife feel inner bliss, your ways are pleasing unto her. Not in the negative sense, but I mean, yes, we all know what a husband should do in a house. If you're a husband and you do such things, your wife will be pleased with you. And when your wife is pleased with you, she would accept you as an husband. And she will do everything for you to be happy. Likewise, if you're a wife in the house, and you know the duties of a wife, you know what a wife should do and should not do. Now, if your responsibilities and the way you carry yourself out as a wife find its way into the heart of your husband, that means your husband will be pleased with you. And when your husband is pleased with you, your husband would accept you. Irrespective of who you are, your husband will accept you. So, know that when you see that people begin to reject you, that means your ways are not pleasing to their hearts. When you see that people begin to reject you, that means you began doing certain things which it does not please the people. That means you began to live a life which they are no more happy with it. And once they are not happy with what you do, they'll begin to reject you. They will begin to distance themselves. They will not accept you again in their fold or in their midst. So this is one of the ways you can use the laws of the universe for your advantage. And this I am talking about, a lot of people has misbehaved towards their husbands. A lot of people's wives' ways are not pleasing unto their husbands. A lot of husbands' ways are not pleasing unto their wives. And they have lost that acceptability as a wife and acceptability as a husband. And then he will be going from church to church doing pray for me. He will be going from malam to malam doing consultation. He will be going for spiritual person or spiritual person doing consultations. They will be bathing all sort of soaps and using all sort of oils because their ways are not pleasing. That's why for me, when you come to me with a marital issue, I try to diagnose the issue. Before I will even give you any form of assistance, we need to diagnose the issue to know where you tend to violate any of the natural laws. And when there's a violation, then we find a way to see the way out before we will attach anything that would enhance your acceptability. Because irrespective of what we do for you or what is done for you, if your ways are not pleasing unto your partner, unto your boss, unto your employer, unto your investor, whatever it is, you will not be acceptable. So you must understand this law of acceptability that moves in consonance with the law of pleasing.